I'm getting freer than before by watching your video, so thank you so much. But I still have a long way to be free, so I have a question about that. So with my wife, I have a really different perspective and opinion, and also about the priority in the life. For example, she want me to clean something right away, but I don't want to clean that right away because I have a priority, like I have to do the dishes or something others. So my question is, should I have to fit in? Because I asked a lot of people who already married and spent a lot of time, and they said you have to fit in because if other person don't have a will to fit in. So that's my question. And actually, my feeling is I feel bad that she doesn't care about this point because I'm kind of delicate and considerate, but she's like a general, so she don't think much. I think a lot about the life or everything. So, and one thing I want to mention is like marriage. So we have to be have a consensus in a way, almost every way. So I just want to let her just being that way, but we have to make a consensus in everything. So that's my question. So we have a different perspective, and how can I handle this one?
네, 둘이 다 청소를 잘 안 하는 사람하고 결혼하면 뭐 마음은 편할지 몰라도 집안이 좀 지저분하지 않을까요?
So if you were to get your way and not clean, I mean, you might feel better about it, but the house is going to be dirty.
애들한테도 크게 교육상 뭐 좋을 것도 없습니다.
And that's not really good for your education of your children.
그러니까 아내가 청소를 깨끗이 한다면 나가 잘 못하지만은 아내가 그렇게 해준 것은 좋은 일입니다.
So in a way, if she's good at cleaning, although I'm not as good or as motivated, that's a good thing, right?
고맙게 생각하면 됩니다.
So you just feel grateful for it.
그리고 잔소리를 하면 그건 좋은 일이니까 따르는 게 좋습니다.
So if she nags you to clean, I mean, it's a good thing, right? So just follow whatever she tells you,
친구가 말하듯이
like a friend.
아니 친구가 말했듯이 그냥 마누라 말 따라라 이 말을 따르는 게 좋다 이 말이에요.
Right? So like you follow what your wife tells you, basically.
그런데 이제 문제는 계속 그렇게 되면 내가 스트레스를 받습니다.
But the problem is, if you just continue following and doing what your wife tells you, then you end up with stress.
그러니까 정말 내가 저 와이프가 청소를 해줘서 고맙다 하는 마음을 갖고 있으면 미안해 여보 이러면서 그냥 와이프 덕을 보면 되고요.
So if you're really grateful, if you hold this really gratitude for her to be such a good cleaner, then you just say I'm sorry, but at the same time you hold that gratitude.
그런데 그렇게 해서 스트레스를 안 받으면 제일 좋은데.
And it's the best way for you not to get stressed out.
근데 자기도 자기 고집이 있으니까 왜 그렇게 꼭 해야 되나 이런 게 밑바닥에 깔려 있으니까 이제 스트레스를 많이 받는다면.
But you also have that insistence that you're right, that this is not that's important. So and why is she getting upset or so obsessed about cleaning? So you get stressed out.
그래서 깨끗한 것보다는 스트레스 받는 게 더 나쁜 일이에요.
So getting stressed out is actually worse than keeping a clean house.
그때는 그냥 아내 말을 듣지 않으면 됩니다.
So in that sense, don't listen to your wife.
왜냐하면 스트레스를 내가 덜 받아야 되기 때문에.
Because it's more important for you not to get stressed out.
그럼 아내의 잔소리를 들어야 합니다.
In that sense, the consequences of that, you have to listen to her nag.
근데 왜 잔소리를 하느냐 이렇게 생각하면 안 됩니다.
But the question should not be, why is she nagging me to clean?
잔소리 할 만하다 이렇게 받아들여요.
You have to understand that she has the right to nag.
그래서 그냥 죄송해요, 미안해요 이렇게 얘기해야 돼.
So you just have to apologize,
예를 든다면
for example.
그런 식으로 대응을 하면 됩니다.
So that's how you should deal with the situation.
즉 가능하면 아내 얘기를 따라주는 게 좋고.
So if at all possible, the best solution is for you to listen to your wife.
그는 내가 아내의 노예는 아니니까 다 따를 수는 없습니다.
But since you're not her slave, you can't listen to everything she tells you.
나도 가끔 내 하고 싶은 대로 해도 됩니다.
Because sometimes you can actually do what you want.
그럴 때는 아내에게 미안하다고 하고 해야 합니다.
But when you do that, you just apologize to your wife, I'm sorry, and then you do what you want.
더 했어요.
Do you have any follow-up?
For example, we have a different opinion about she really loves to go vacation, but I don't want to go, and I just want to stay home. So I think there's no good or bad in this situation. So how can we decide about this one?
같이 살려면 따라주는 게 좋지 않을까요?
So if you want to stay married, it's probably better for you to listen to your wife.
뭐 그게 너무 힘들면 이혼하면 되고
But if that's too hard, you can get divorced.
뭐 그 어려운 일은 아니에요.
That's not a difficult thing.
뭐 이혼해봤자 본전이에요.
So if you get divorced, you're just back to square one
왜냐하면 원래 혼자였잖아요.
because you were never married in the first place before you got married.
그러니까 결혼을 한다는 것은 서로 다른 것이 함께 한 집에서 생활하기 때문에 서로 맞춰가는 것이 결혼이다 이렇게 생각해요.
So being married is about kind of compromising and kind of fitting your different perspectives, with each other. I mean, that's the process of marriage, right?
맞는 사람이 만나서 산다가 아니라 다른 사람이 만나서 맞춰가는 거다. 관점을 이렇게 가져야 됩니다.
So it's not, two people who fully agree on everything, getting together, living together. It's two different people who don't agree on everything, coming together and learning how to compromise.
인간관계가 어떻게 형성되는지 한번 여러분들이 살펴보세요.
And just step back and just listen and look at how people's relationships form.
우리는 내가 모르는 다른 사람에 대해서는 나와 다를 거다 이렇게 이미 생각하고 있습니다.
Because when we meet strangers, we don't expect that they will be the same as us.
근데 같이 얘기를 해보니까 한국 사람이야.
Then you end up saying, and you start talking to a stranger and go, oh, he's Korean too.
그러면 약간 가까워집니다.
And you feel a little closeness because of
얘기하다
that.
보니 종교가 같은 기독교야.
And then you're both Christians, you find out.
그럼 또 약간 가까워집니다.
So you have a little more in common.
또 고향을 물어보니까 뭐 경상도다, 전라도다, 고향이 같아요. 그러면 또 가까워집니다.
And then you find out you're from the same hometown, same region, so you become a little closer.
또 취향을 물어보니까 취미가 또 비슷해요.
And so you ask for each other's hobbies, and hobbies are similar too.
이렇게 가까운 것이 같은 것이 점점 많아질수록 친해집니다.
So the more commonalities you have, the more friendly you become.
그러면 이제 이게 연인이 되거나 뭐 결혼을 하거나 이렇게까지 발전해 갈 수 있습니다.
And that relationship may advance so that you become lovers or you get married.
근데 우리의 뇌라는 게 참 재밌습니다. 그 작용이.
It's kind of fun when you think how your brain functions.
같은 것이 하나에서 둘, 열, 스물 이렇게 늘어나면 내가 앞질러 가서 우리는 모든 것이 같다 이렇게 내가 딱 벌써 단정을 먼저 내려버립니다.
So when you actually see, find out you have 1, 2, 3, or 10 things in common, or 20 things in common, your brain automatically goes forward and makes the assumption that everything is the same, that you have everything in common.
그래서 이제 결혼까지 갑니다.
And so you get married.
근데 같이 살아보면
But when you live together,
이제 다른 것이 하나씩
then
발견돼요.
you start realizing that you have things that's different, that's not in common.
자기 말한 대로 청소에 대한 개념이 다르고
For example, you have different ideas of cleanliness,
음식의 짜고 싱거움도 다르고
about how spicy your food should be.
이렇게 이제 계속 다른 것이 발견이 됩니다.
Then you start kind of finding what you're different from.
그러면 이제 이 의식이 점점 어떠냐? 니하고는 같은 게 없네. 이렇게 이제 결론이 납니다.
And then your brain automatically assumes the opposite, that we have nothing in common.
성격이 너무 안 맞다.
Then our personalities
취향이 너무 안 맞다.
we just don't like the same thing.
못 살겠다.
We can't live together like this.
이런 식으로 해가 헤어집니다.
So that's why you get separated.
결혼까지 이르를 때는 같은 것이 많이 발견됐기 때문에 결혼했습니다.
Because you got married, because you found a lot of things in common.
그래서 헤어지고 나서 한참 지나놓고 다른 사람을 만나보면 그 사람이 더 나은 것 같이 또 느껴져요.
So after you get divorced, after a while, when you start dating again, you start realizing maybe that was a mistake.
그래서 여러분들이 뭐 처음 만난 사람하고 결혼하나 오래 연애를 한 사람하고 결혼하나 결혼 생활은 사실 큰 차이가 없습니다.
So, say you marry somebody while you dated for a short time, or you marry somebody after dating for a long time, the actual marriage itself, living in a marriage relationship, is not that different.
물론 처음 만난 사람의 공통점이 적을 수가 있습니다.
Of course, you might have less in common with a person you only dated for a short time.
그러나 이 뇌가 같다고 단정을 안 내리고 있기 때문에 살면서 같은 것을 자꾸 발견하게 돼요.
But since your brain hasn't really made that assumption that you're all the same, you share everything in common, you actually start finding things more in common as you live together in marriage.
즉 기대가 낮기 때문에 실망이 없다는 거예요.
So in a way, it's expectation management because you have lower expectations, you're not as disappointed.
근데 많이 점검을 해가 결혼을 하면 어떻게 되느냐?
But after going through a lot of review process for dating for a long time,
그럼 기대가 그만큼 벌써 높아져 있다.
then your expectations are already super high.
근데 실제로 살아보면 기대보다는 낫는 거예요.
But once you actually get into marriage, live together, then you realize that the actual marriage itself is lower than you expected.
그래서 실망이 자꾸 커지는 거예요.
Then your disappointment gets relatively larger.
그러니까 길 가던 사람하고 만나나 10년 사귀어서 만나나 살아보면 별 차이가 없습니다.
So whether you marry a stranger off the street or marry somebody you dated for 10 years, marriage is like not that different.
옛날에는 서로 모르고 살았는데 이혼율이 별로 없잖아요.
So in the olden days, nobody actually saw each other before they got married, and you didn't see a lot of divorces.
요즘은 뭐 온갖 다 맞춰보고 동거까지 해보고 결혼하는데도 이혼율이 아주 높지
But
않습니까?
these days, you actually date for a long time. You even live together before actually deciding to get married. Yet the divorce rate is sky high.
그러니까 서로 다름을 전제하고 맞춰가는 거다.
So marriage is all about knowing that you are different, then you are actually coming together in a compromise.
맞추는 방법이 어떤 게 제일 쉬울까요?
And what's the easiest way to compromise?
상대에다가 내가 따라주는 게 제일 쉽습니다.
The easiest way to compromise is for you to give in,
그건 내가 결정할 수 있으니까.
because you can decide to give in.
어떤 것이 제일 어려웠냐?
What's the most difficult?
나한테 상대를 맞추게 하는 겁니다.
To force the other to actually follow your desires and wants.
내가 결정할 수 있는 게 아무것도 없기 때문에.
In that sense, it's not really up to you. It's up to the other person to actually adhere to your preferences.
근데 여러분들 대부분은 제일 쉬운 길을 버리고 제일 어려운 길을 선택합니다.
But most of the times, I see everybody chooses the most difficult way, not the easiest way.
그래서 수행이라는 것은 쉬운 길을 가라는 거예요.
So spiritual practice is all about following the easiest path.
여러분들이 어려운 길을 선택했기 때문에 스트레스 받는 것은 당연한 겁니다.
Since you chose the most difficult path, obviously you're going to be stressed out.
네, 계속 받고 사십시오.
So I want you to live with that stress.